Hello everyone, I came up with a simple idea for my research when I heard one of my students said, "Kamu mau pergi kemana?" to his friend, and suddenly I think that how if he used this sentence to the other people than him. So that's why this idea came up at the first place on how this pragmatics plays an important role in social interaction because the pragmatics deals with the politeness and also appropriateness of social interaction. So it's me here. I am Dina Dita, one of the English lecturer in the University of Dar es Salaam, Banten. I will try to explain to you really in relation with my research about pragmatics. And the first one, why do we need to learn pragmatics? The importance of learning pragmatics, and the second one is the advantages of learning pragmatics, and the result and also discussion of my research, and the last one is conclusion. Going on with the first introduction, as a social interaction requires social politeness in which people have to be aware in using different languages to different people they talk to. Like I already said, that it's quite not appropriate for a person who is much younger than the second person, and they use the same language when they talk to the people in their age. In this case, pragmatics give opportunities to use different language to convey the same meaning. Just like in the sentence, kamu mau pergi kemana? Saudara mau pergi kemana? Bapak mau pergi kemana? Actually, these three sentences have the same meaning, in which the first person is asking to where the second person is going. The thing that makes it different is that the first one is used by a person who is in the same age or to the lower age than him or her. The second one is used in the business situation. And the third one is used by a person who is way much younger than the second person. So in order to honor that person, so that's why he or she may use bapak mau pergi kemana instead of using kamu mau pergi kemana. Therefore, in order to speak to people from different areas effectively and politely, speakers have to be trained with pragmatics that involves diverse cultures and languages. The advantages of learning pragmatics is actually to interpret the meaning of language from broader intercultural aspects in order to avoid misunderstanding and also miscommunication. According to House et al., the pragmatics is a type of knowledge that makes people to test the intercultural interaction structures and speech act strategies in order to resolve problems of misunderstanding encountered in the social setting. Therefore, through being informed about the cultural alternativeness, language learners would be capable in dealing with cultural diversities and in making compromise when talking with people from different language backgrounds. So it's really important to use a different language to different people. The importance of learning pragmatics, in fact, although many pedagogies of teaching pragmatics have been discussed, the importance of pragmatics has not been emphasized in a level that it needs to be emphasized. To cope with it, pragmatics need to be taught from the very first year that the children learn the language. So the children learning language need not only to learn the language itself, but also need to notice the importance of politeness and appropriateness, because the goal of the conversation itself is to be able to honor people, especially during the social interaction, because in social interaction is quite different when you are in the classroom. So the theory is not always the same as the implementation in the social interaction. The pragmatics in social interaction, as a result of this study, the section includes a short conversation transcript from the researcher's first language, in this case is Japanese to English language. The conversation is actually just not contained from that grammar or lexical resources, but it's purely Japanese in nature. That is made up of pragmatics element that cannot be directly translated into English. So some words is actually cannot be translated into English because there is no such thing in English of that certain word. For the full transcription, you may find it in my full paper of this research. So I won't explain it one by one in this occasion because the time is so limited. The first analysis, adult English speakers do not ordinarily address someone as auntie or uncle unless there is a genuine familial relationship of that sort. So for example, in Japanese, you may call Pak De or Bode to anyone that is much older than you. But however, in English, you cannot call someone as auntie or uncle unless they are your real auntie or uncle. So you must have the real family relationship with them. So it's pretty much different between English culture and also in Japanese culture. The second analysis, in English, the term "how are you" is usually considered as a greeting, not a real question. However, in Japanese, the phrase "pripun kabare" or "piye kabarmu," depending to whom the speaker is talking to, whether it is elder or younger people, it may communicate genuine interest in the other speaker's well-being. So as a result, the interlocution ends by describing her background problems. So the word "piye kabarmu" or asking someone's situation is quite important to create good social interaction, especially in Japanese. The third analysis came up with, in the sentence 18 in the full transcription, the interlocution used the term "I'm sorry" followed by long explanation to express her misunderstanding. In the previous sentence, she mentioned that she did not understand the concept of postgraduate program, so therefore she asked for further information. The role of pragmatics here is avoiding miscommunication and also misunderstanding. So somehow people need to ask for clarification in order to avoid the misunderstanding using a polite language. The fourth analysis is, in sentence 20, the girl said, "Yes, I want 3 pecel rice to go, please." The use the word "please" here to request something. So she used the term "please" to show politeness while speaking to elder people. The fifth analysis, the English phrases such as "greetings" are used in other languages but often take on a different meaning. In Japanese, for instance, "Nuwun or "excuse me," in addition to being a greeting, is a leave taking. Therefore, while it is perfectly acceptable in Japanese to convey goodbye by saying "excuse me," while in English, "excuse me" is likely to be astonished by such affirmation of asking question or greeting someone new. So they won't use the word "excuse me" to say goodbye. It's pretty much different. The next one, in English, one might attempt to end a conversation by using pre-closing elements. However, in other languages, speakers may end a conversation more abruptly. So, for example, in English, when somebody wants to leave, they simply say goodbye. However, in the real social interaction, in our social interaction in Japanese, you cannot simply say, "I'm leaving" or "goodbye," but you must use some pre-closing elements. The next one, the turn taking is flowing well in the conversation shows that pragmatics functions well during the interaction. There are no interruptions in the middle of the speech as a result of both speaker and interlocution understand when they have to speak without disturbing other turn to speak. So the role of pragmatics here, they really need to know the turn taking. So some people may not interrupt other people when they want to say something, so there is no interruption during the speech. However, the above transcript version still does not sound English in nature. This analysis points to the fact that language proficiency cannot be equalized regarding the cultural differences of the target language. Like already mentioned before, that not all the Japanese language can be transcribed into English because there is no such thing in English word relating with that word in Japanese. Discussion came up with the successful social communication has 3 components, including the first one is the ability to use language for different purposes, the ability to adapt language meet the needs for the listener or situation, and the last one is following the often unspoken rules of conversation and storytelling. There are some problems that occur that are caused by pragmatics difficulties. The first one is the problem deals with behavior. The second one is sensory processing. The third one is struggling with working memory. And the last one, it may cause someone by receptive understanding language, comprehension of language, and hard to use expressive language. So when someone deals with the difficulties in learning pragmatics, somehow they have a big problem, just like this. For example of problems. As a conclusion, learning pragmatics is enormously needed to convey communicative intents regarding the culture or in our culture. The role of pragmatics should be used in social communications Children should learn pragmatics function since the early age as the implication. Learning pragmatics can be very interesting and challenging experiences. So to teach them about the politeness and also awareness in social interaction, they really need to be taught by pragmatics since the early age. And during the pragmatics learning, people can learn a lot of expression and interpretation of various types of intercultural speeches. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. I believe that we are going to have a discussion section after this. So if you find some questions dealing with the pragmatics importance, especially in social interactions, you may ask me directly, or if the time is not enough for us to have some kind of discussion, you may contact me in my email, dinardika@unida.gontor.ac.id. Looking forward to seeing you to have a great discussion, especially dealing with pragmatics. Thank you. Goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.